Hello everyone, I hope everyone can see my screen. My name is Arnav Shruti and I will be the instructor for today's class. And this class is all about the speaking test. So in the class, we'll get to know about the time duration, the time duration of the test, the different parts, what kind of stuff might come in the exam. And at the end of the lecture, I'll give you some basic tips. I believe that might help you uh, during the exam. So let's see what is it all about. And I hope you'll get to know something very interesting in this whole class. So IELTS has a total of 3 sections, but the whole exam will be over within 11 to 14 minutes. And this exam is the same for both general training and academic. Those who are going to do the general training, they are going to give the IELTS speaking test, and those who are going to do the academic, they are also going to give this test. So it's the same. So the section 1, so in the section 1, there is 4 to 5 time limit. You'll get within 4 to 5 minutes. The section 1 will be over. Section 2 will take about 3 to 4 minutes to be over. And in the section 3, it will take about 4 to 5 minutes to finish up the exam. Okay, yeah. So in the section 1, so it is probably the easiest part in the IELTS test, because this test in this section is totally about it. So in this part, the invigilator will try to get to know you better. He'll try to warm you up. So he'll ask you some basic personal questions like, what is your name? Where are you from? Who are your family members? Etc. Something like that. Very basic questions. And these are the questions that you already know. So you don't have to be alarmed about these sections too much. If you practice a bit more, I think you'll get to do better in this section and you'll get a good grade. And so the only thing you can do is practice, because you know this kind of question will be coming in the exam. As for the section 2, it's a bit harder than the previous section. So it will have probably 3 to 4 questions in this part. So you'll be given a cue card, and in the cue card there will be some instructions. There will be the questions that will tell you how you are going to deliver your answer. So here is an example of cue card. So you will see it in the IELTS speaking test in the section 2. They'll ask you something like this. So they'll tell you, like, let's take this example. So here is they're asking that to describe a website that you bought something from. So, and here are the things that you're supposed to answer. So they're already telling you what you're going to say to the interviewer. So let's say at first you're saying that what the website is. So your answer most probably be Daraj, as it is the most most popular online platform in our country. So you might say, I bought a sneaker from Daraj. And then you can say that how satisfied you are, if you have liked your product or not. You can describe this as you please. So while you are giving answer, keep in mind that before giving the answer, you will be given a piece of paper so that you can make some notes, and you will have 1 minute to prepare so that you can tell the answers properly. So the invigilator might give you 2 minutes so that you can answer your questions, so that you can answer these questions properly. And after finishing up your answer, they might ask you 1 or 2 more questions about the same topic, and then it will be all over. Then the section 2 is over. So one thing to remember is that they're not going to ask you anything weird. They're just going to ask you about, they're going to ask you about something normal, which could be like books, films, education, travel, etc. It could be anything, but just normal things. And in the section 3, you have to remember section 3 probably is the most toughest part in the whole speaking test, because these questions are a bit more open. Let's say, usually in this section, the examiner might tell you to give opinion about something. It could be anything, but the question are a bit broad enough. So there might be some questions that might be connected with the section 2. So you don't need to worry about it too much. Just be normal, be relaxed. If you practice more, you'll get to give the answer. But I know it might be difficult for you guys to answer it, but if you practice, I believe you'll get there. And one thing to remember, in this section, just don't give the answer within 1 or 2 lines, because the main target of this exam is to test your English efficiency. So the more you will talk, the more you can show your English skill. The more you show your English skill, the interviewer will be more impressed. So you'll get good grade. So try to elaborate your answer a bit more in this section. So if you forget your shyness in this part, I believe any student can do better. All right. So we are almost at the end of our lecture. So the first thing I would say, practice, practice, and more practice. The more you practice, the more you will be able to get good score. You can practice speaking in front of the mirror. You can practice speaking with your friend. Probably you can talk with yourself. Sometimes it also helps. So one common problem that happens to most of the candidate is that you get tongue-tied. Your brain gets blank. You don't know what to say during the exam. It's very common. So what are you going to do if you face this issue? Just buy some time to think. So how are you going to get that time? So let's say the interviewer has asked you a question that needs some time to think. So you might say to the interviewer that, could you please repeat that? Can you please say it again? Sorry, I could not hear it. Can you please repeat that? Something like that. So while you're saying it, and at the time the interviewer is repeating you the question, you'll have a few seconds to think about the question. Your answer will automatically load up and you'll be able to deliver your answer properly. So I know you will get probably 3 to 4 seconds or probably 5 seconds, but if you practice, that time is more than enough to give the answer. So if you get too nervous during the exam, I would say just don't overthink about it too much. Just don't think about it too much. They are not going to ask you about something hard. They are not going to ask you about the quantum physics, or they are not going to ask you about the theory of relativity. They're going to ask you some questions that you already know. So it's not going to be that hard. They are not going to give you a maths to solve. So it's going to be pretty normal. Just have confidence in yourself. Just think of it as a normal conversation between two people. If you think of it as a test, you'll get nervous and you'll mess up the test. So don't think about it too much. I think if you follow these tips, basic tips, I think this will help you relax. So everyone, that's all about it today. I hope you have a great day. I hope I'll see you in the next time. Bye.